Because something's off. And it's not subtle. Not even a little bit. It's loud. It's visible. It's weird. One day you're staring at a roster with Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill and dreaming of deep playoff runs. The next, it's rumors, whispers, quiet exits, sudden changes in tone, and a front office that doesn't look like it knows whether to push forward or hit reset. That in-between place. That awful, disorienting no man's land that never leads anywhere good. And here we are. They say Jalen Ramsey is getting traded. Maybe. Probably. Maybe not. Depends on the time of day, really. Depends on how Chris Greer feels when he wakes up in the morning. 1 minute they're exploring options. The next, it's we'll wait till after June. Translation? Nobody wants to eat the cap hit just yet. Or maybe they're still hoping for some desperate GM to blink. Ramsey's not even the real storm. Tyreek Hill is. And this is where things get strange. Because Hill's name keeps popping up. Not because fans are panicking. Not because it makes sense. But because the noise is too constant to ignore. The Cowboys didn't draft a WR. CeeDee Lamb is elite, sure, but he's doing too much alone. Dak Prescott needs help. Jerry Jones is impatient, aging, unpredictable, rich. You connect those dots, and what do you get? A scenario that no one wants to admit might actually be on the table. A trade. Tyreek Hill. To Dallas. You hear that, and you want to laugh. Because it sounds insane, right? Except it doesn't. Not anymore. Because when SB Nation's Brian Martin floated it, it wasn't as a joke. It wasn't fan fiction. It was grounded in all the noise that's been swirling for months. The pieces fit too well. Hill's production dipped. The offense stalled. Tua got hurt again. And just like that, the shine faded. That magic 2022 version of Tyreek, the one who lit up defenses and changed games with one cut, he was harder to find last year. 959 yards. 6 touchdowns. Good. Yeah. Great. Not really. Not compared to 1,799 and 13 scores the year before. It was supposed to be more. That's what this team needed. That's what they expected. And when the production slowed and the injuries piled up and the offensive rhythm just collapsed, things got tense. Not outwardly, but you can feel it if you're paying attention. Something's been off between the lines. Would Hill thrive in Dallas? Maybe that's the part that really burns. Because yeah, he would. Lamb and Hill together? That's a nightmare for defensive coordinators. It's the type of pairing that makes headlines in July and keeps secondaries up at night in November. Hill wouldn't need to carry the offense. He'd just have to be dangerous. And that's still in his DNA. But back to Miami. Back to this mess. Because if you're thinking the Dolphins would never trade Tyreek, well, have you looked around? Javon Holland's gone. Terron Armstead, aging, injured. The locker room core is shifting. The whispers aren't random. And if this team doesn't see a Super Bowl window anymore, then unloading a massive contract and reloading through the draft suddenly becomes not crazy, but calculated. Calculated doesn't always mean smart. So let's rewind. Why is Hill even being talked about like this? Simple. Because this version of the Dolphins isn't the one they sold us. The defense was supposed to be elite. The offense unstoppable. Mike McDaniel the genius who'd bring it all together. But none of it stuck. Not for real. There were flashes, yes. Explosions. That early season stretch where they looked like the fastest team ever assembled. And then, collapse. Injuries. Inconsistency. And silence in the biggest games. And here comes the twist. What if this is exactly what the front office wanted? Not the failure, but the flexibility that comes after. You unload a few veterans. You stockpile picks. You rebuild around a young core. Tua still under contract. Waddle still ascending. A few rookie contracts. Suddenly the books are clean. Suddenly you're not stuck anymore. But again, what are you left with? A team that almost had it. A team that was built to be dangerous. A team that needed just a little more luck, just a little more health, just a little more of everything, and didn't get it. Trading Hill wouldn't just hurt. It would signal the end of the illusion. That 2022 flash-in-the-pan season? Gone. That deep playoff run dream? Postponed. Indefinitely. Unless there's another plan. Unless there's a gamble we're not seeing. Let's talk about fit. Dallas wants speed. Dallas wants flash. He'll gives them both. It'd cost them draft capital, yes. It'd require cap gymnastics, definitely. But Jerry Jones doesn't care about rules. He cares about stars. He cares about headlines. He cares about that ring that's been evading him since the 90s. And if he thinks he'll get him closer, he pulls the trigger. So the question flips.